So in this video, I'm just going to be going over some integrals that involve U-substitution. I'm assuming that you already know the basics of antiderivatives and have learned about U-substitution so that you wouldn't have too much difficulty trying to understand these examples. So what we're going to do for this integral is we're going to let u equal to x squared plus 1. Now if we let u equal to x squared plus 1, if we derivate that, we will get 2x, and we can rearrange that to give us, in terms of x, du over 2. Now if we go back to our original integral, we can plug in the x and the x squared plus 1, and we end up getting u squared times du over 2, and we can just pull out the half, and we end up getting u squared du, and we can integrate this pretty easily. It's just u cubed over 3 plus c, and then we can substitute back our x squared plus 1 that we substituted for u, and we get our final answer, which is that. So for this example, what we can do is we can actually let u equal to x to the negative 2 minus 4, and once we differentiate this, what we can actually get is x to the negative 3 times negative 2. And we can then, of course, isolate for x to the negative 3 by dividing the left-hand side by negative 2. So we get du over negative 2 equals to x to the negative 3 dx. And x to the negative 3 is just 1 over x to the 3, and that's what we got in our original integral. So we can replace the original integral with u times du all over negative 2, and we can pull out the 1 over negative 2, and we're just left with u times du, and we can easily integrate this. It's just u squared over 2, and then we can just substitute what we subbed in for u, which was x to the negative 2 minus 4. So after we do that, we get our final answer. Now if you look at e to the square root x over square root x, let's let u equal to the square root of x. And if you remember, if you differentiate the square root of x, you get 1 over 2 times the square root of x. And once again, we can isolate for this 1 over square root of x if we pull the 2 on the other side. And now we get something that looks like our original function. So we can let our original function equal e to the u times 2 times du. And once we do this, we can actually, oh yeah, don't forget to write the dx. I tend to forget that quite often. And so we can now pull out the 2, and we're just left with e to the u du, and the integral of e to the u is just e to the u. So, should be e to the u plus c. And then we can just plug in what we substituted for u. Now let's take a look at this example, the integral of x over square root of 3x squared plus 1 dx. Now, if we let u equal to 3x squared plus 1, and if we differentiate that, we will get 6x. And once again, we can isolate for the x in the numerator, and so we can get du over 6, and then we can just plug that back into the original integral, so it'll be just 1 over square root u times du over 6. You can take out the 1 over 6 and integrate what's inside. It's just u to the negative half, and you can just use the power rule to find the integral of that. So now I'd like to look at two examples that look quite similar but are actually quite different. So here I have the square root of ln x over x dx, and for this one, what you want to do, well, you can simply just let u equal to ln x. And if you do that, if you differentiate ln x, if you remember, it's just 1 over x. And when you plug it back into your integral, you actually don't have to do much. It's just square root of u and it's not even over anything actually. It's just multiplied by du, and from here you can just use the power rule. I'm not going to do it. It should be pretty self-explanatory from this point on. So my camera fell down, but we're still alive here. For this example, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break up the denominator into square root x times square root x, just to more clearly show the substitution that we're doing here. We're going to actually substitute ln of square root x for u. And if we do that, if we differentiate that, if you remember that the derivative of ln of a function is just 1 over the function times the derivative of that function. So in this case, it's 1 over square root x times the derivative of square root x, which is 1 over 2 times square root x. If you remember from the previous example, we can multiply those two together, and then we can just isolate for 1 over x. And now if you see, if we substitute back into our original integral, we just get u over, actually you don't get u over anything here. It's just u times 2 du. You can take out the 2, and you're just left with u du. And I'm just going to move this up here. And from here you can just use power rule. Once again, not going to do it. You can just do it. It's pretty simple from here. Now, before we continue on with the rest of the examples, I just wanted to say that you don't always have to use U-sub. You might see these type of problems mixed in into your U-sub problems. So for the first two, you don't have to use U-sub because you can just break it up, because there are more terms in the numerator than the denominator. In this case, there are 2 terms in the numerator and 1 in the denominator. So what you can do is you can actually split it up into the first term divided by the denominator, plus the second term divided by the denominator. And if you do this, you end up getting 2 x terms, x to the power of something. And what do we know about terms that are x to the power of something? You can just use the power rule. So you didn't even have to use U-sub here. You could just use power rule, and you'll be good to go. And the second example is pretty similar. Once again, you break it up into the first term divided by the denominator. So you get 2 over e to the x minus e to the x over e to the x dx. You can see that the second term is just going to be -1. So if we rewrite that here as 2 times e to the 2 over e to the x minus 1 dx. And then for the first term, you can just pull out the 2, and you can write it as e to the negative x minus dx. And we already know how to integrate e to the negative x. It's just going to be e to the negative x times -1. And the other integral is just going to be x. Now for the last example, notice that there is only 1 term in the square root, and since there is, you can actually expand it. So this is something that you should look out for. If there's only 1 term in the square root times another polynomial, you can just expand everything out, and then you can just use the power rule. So in this case, it's just going to be x squared times x squared plus 1 times x to the half, which is the square root of x, and you can just do x squared times x to the half plus x to the half times 1, which is just x to the half, and you can just use power rule from here. So x squared times x to the half is just x to the 5 halves, and you can just use power rule from this point on. So sometimes you're going to have problems like this where they don't give you only 1 term inside the square root. You get something like x plus 1. So what you're going to have to do here is you're going to actually have to do a U-sub. You're going to have to sub in x plus 1 as your u. And you're going to have to do a little bit of rearranging. So first of all, the derivative of that is just going to be dx, but you can actually move the 1 to the other side, so you get u minus 1. And then since we're looking for an x squared, you can just do u minus 1 squared, and have that equal to x squared. So you have a substitution for x squared now in our integral. So we can plug that in. We get the integral of u minus 1 squared times the square root of u. And now it looks like the form that we had earlier. We have only one term in the square root, and we can expand everything else. So you have u minus 1 squared, that's just going to be u squared minus 2u plus 1 times u to the half, and you can just expand that and use power rule, and you will get your integral that you want. So this problem is pretty similar to the previous one. We can just let u equal x minus 1, and then we can rearrange to find what x is. So we have to add 1 this time, and once again we're looking for x squared, and it's just going to be u plus 1 squared, and we can plug that in back into our original integral, and our original integral is going to look like u plus 1 squared times u to the 100, and we actually don't need brackets. We can just erase those if we want. And yeah, again, you can just expand this and you can use the power rule. It's the same as before, the previous example. So I wanted to cover this common example. To do this one, what I like to do is I want to break up the numerator so that I have 3x over x squared plus 1 and have the other term 1 over x squared plus 1. And what do you notice about 1 over x squared plus 1? Well, that's just the antiderivative of arctan. So we can just keep that on the back of our mind. And now we just have to deal with the 3x over x squared plus 1. Now we can just do a simple u sub, let it equal to x squared plus 1, and then du will equal to 2x, du over 2 equals x, dx of course, don't forget that. And then we can just put that back in. So 3x over x squared plus 1 dx is just going to equal to 1 over u times 3 times du over 2. You can take out the 3 over 2, so you're just left with 1 over u that you're dealing with, and that's just going to be ln u. So 3 over 2 ln u, absolute value of course, don't forget that. And you can just substitute back in the u. So that's just x squared plus 1, and x squared plus 1 is actually always positive, so you don't need the absolute value anymore. And then we can just combine it together with the arctan to get our final answer. So our final answer, the original integral, is going to be 3 over 2 ln x squared plus 1 plus arctan x plus c. So before I wrap up the video, I'd just like to go over some trigonometric integral examples of u sub. And you probably won't be tested on many of these at this point in time. But let's look at this example. So for sine pi x, cos pi x, you can actually choose either cos or sine as your u, because if you remember, the integral of sine or the derivative of sine is cos, derivative of cos is negative sine. So let's use sine pi x. If we differentiate that, we're going to get cos pi x times pi, which is inside the argument for sine, if you remember, and we can just divide du by pi to isolate for cos pi x. Pi is a constant, remember. So we can then just plug it back into our original integral. It'll just be u times du over pi. You can take out the 1 over pi, and you're just left with u times du, so you can easily integrate that. It's just u squared over 2, the power rule. And then you can just plug back in the u that you substituted to get the final answer, which is going to be sine squared pi x over 2 plus c. The final example I'll be covering is the integral of secant squared x over tan x plus 1, and I want you to note that the derivative of tan x is actually secant squared x. It's very important that you remember this. This will be reoccurring a lot. So we can just let u equal to tan x plus 1 and du equals to secant squared x. And then we can just substitute that back into our integral. So it's just going to be 1 du over u which is just 1 over u times du. That's just ln u plus c, and put the u back in, and it's just ln tan x plus 1, the absolute value of that, plus c. So that's all for this video. Please remember to subscribe, as I will be posting more of these calculus related videos in the near future.